Okay, so besides the React files that we've copied across, we've got some backend changes as well in the clone files there from GitHub. Again, probably a little bit easier to do this in Windows Explorer. This is basically the folder again. What we still need to deal with are this file here, app.py, is a replacement for the Flask backend. You can see there we've got some code in there, a bit more elaborated, with some callbacks. That allows us to interact with the deep learning interface. We'll go into that in a bit more detail later when we do the deep learning training part. We've also got some Python, the backend model inference script here, DL model. We need to copy that across, plus some text test images. So we'll pull them in just now. There we go. App.py, we can probably take that with your finger and control, Python and test images, uploads as well. We want that. That's to allow us to render the images of the deep learning images that we're actually running the model on the UI. So copy those 4 folders. They're going to go into the Flask backend at the top level there, and we are done. So we've just basically replaced app.py there with that version that we've cloned from GitHub. Back in React front end, just don't forget to remove the cloned folder. We don't need that now. Delete it there, or you can do it from Visual Studio. It doesn't really matter. And we're good to go. Let's run this. Okay, so to run this, we go back into Flask backend here. You can see at the moment we're not there. We're in the source folder, so let's cd up a level, and again, and then cd into Flask backend, or you can do a direct from the folder on the left. Doesn't really matter. And it's Python app.py. It will take a bit longer to run because it's using that new Flask backend that we've cloned. Has a bit more code involved to deal with callbacks between the user and the image upload. It's running here, so let's open that. Okay, there is the app with the interface. Okay, and the idea is we're going to make some other changes a bit later, similar to what we did in stage 1. We changed the color rendering of this. For now, this is basically, we're at the end of stage 2. You may want to test just now the actual modeling process just on the local app. We're going to cover that later as part of the AWS deploy, but if you want to test it just now, you'll see here, if you press either upload image or click on the box there in the middle, we can put some dummy images through. Now, at the moment, these are the same dummy images that you've just cloned. It's a folder there for test images from that GitHub repo that we've just cloned. You can test those images. At the moment, the model's not there. So if I try to press run script, which is effectively call the model, you'll get an error. So for now, because we're sort of jumping ahead a little bit, I'm just going to put a pre-trained model. Later on, you'll create this by training the deep learning model with TensorFlow, and it gets dropped in the same folder there as the inference script. So Python folder under Flask backend. Okay, so let me just copy that across and then we'll just see it in action. So we can draw a line under the local app. Okay, I'm dropping it into that Python folder. You can see there, it's a Hadoop style form file. This is quite a big 177 megabytes. We're actually going to use a scaled down version later so we can run it through a Docker container on AWS. But locally, we don't have that problem. That is the model. So if I now go back to the interface, select the image again. It's a bit dark. In fact, let me choose a brighter one in a second. I'm running the script, so it's actually an intersection sign. You can see there, it's called our train model. It's not that sure about it. Probably has to be expected as it was a bit dark. Couldn't pick out the image that well. There's some more. Let's take a slippery road sign there and run that one. Calls the model. Bit more sure that that is a slippery road sign, 60% probability. That's the app we're going to build in AWS. A bit later, we've got 4 more stages to go through first, but this is hopefully useful. That's the local stage done. We'll move on to stage 3 next, set up serverless infrastructure as code to actually do all of the resources in AWS next. Thank you for listening.